So welcome back to Historic Hospitality, where we take you on a journey from the past to the present for all things regarding hospitality. In this episode, we feature the culinary world and the position of the chef. We'll jump right back through the years to see how the career started, where it developed and where it is now. And throughout, as an extra bonus, we're going to feature an interview with one of London's top-known chefs. So do stick around as we speak to Alecks. As always, please do like the video, subscribe and comment below if you'd like to know something or like to say something. Even suggest a feature for the next one. The origins. The role of chef has a rich history, with its origins tracing back to the royal and noble households of medieval and Renaissance Europe. In these grand settings, the position of head cook or chef de cuisine began to emerge as a distinct and respected role responsible for overseeing kitchen and all its staff. The first noted chef in historical records, Guillaume Tirel, known as Taillevent, born in 1310, Tirel served in the kitchens of the French court and is famed for his work La Viandière, one of the earliest collections of recipes in medieval France. This is going to be a butchering session of French. I was never that good at it at school, so bear with me. As for the evolution of the chef's role, it gained significant structure in the 19th century thanks to Georges Escoffier. He is often hailed as the father of modern haute cuisine. Escoffier recognised and revolutionised the kitchen organisation with its brigade system, delineating clear roles for different types of chef, from sauciers to pâtissiers. The chef's role continued to evolve through the 20th century with the rise of celebrity chefs and the global popularity of cooking shows. Also, a big outbreak of culinary schools. This was bringing the profession into the spotlight. But today, chefs are not only masters of the kitchen, but also innovators, educators, and even advocates for sustainable and ethical food practices. As culinary arts continued to progress in the late 20th century and into the early 21st centuries, we saw an increasing emphasis on the fusion of traditional techniques with modern innovation. Chefs began to draw inspiration from global cuisines, leading to exciting new flavours and presentations. This period also saw the rise of molecular gastronomy. This is where chefs used scientific principles to transform ingredients in unexpected ways. Moreover, the role of chefs expanded beyond the kitchen. Many became entrepreneurs opening their own restaurants. They also authored cookbooks and became media personalities in their own right. The chefs' influence grew as they became advocates for food-related causes such as local sourcing, sustainable agriculture and reducing food waste. In the digital age, chefs have harnessed the power of social media to share creations with a global audience, further elevating their status as cultural influencers. The modern chef is a blend of artist, scientist and business person, continually pushing the boundaries of what is possible in the culinary world. So let's jump back now to a snippet of my interview with a current chef. Enjoy. Run straight through, darling. Welcome to the world. Right, so thanks for sparing the time to come and talk to me today on such a busy week.
Anytime.
It's been emotional. It's brilliant. So we're going to ask you the series of questions and give the honest answers and anything you feels relevant, and go with this. Are you ready?
Sure.
So the first one, when did you start your career and at what venue?
I started when I was in uni and I needed a full-time job to pay my bills, and this is the first year when I moved to London, and couldn't find anything decent, some kind of like a full-time. And at some point my best friend moved to the UK and he moved in to live with me, and he was a chef. So one day he comes back home and he goes, tomorrow you're coming for a trial for a gourmet chef position in a Redfish Cafe in West Hampstead.
Okay.
And that was an interesting experience. I came in on my trial shift. The head chef There was a head chef that left because he had an NBA game going on that night. He left me, just me and a sous chef, and we did 60 covers, just two of us, and that was my first job in the kitchen. So that was after my performance, the sous chef shook my hand and said, "You got the job." And the next day, the head chef was fired.
So they did well, and you broke in nice and easy.
Yeah.
A tough one.
That was an interesting day.
Yeah, that's a hard way to start. That's how they love to do it. So why did you choose to be a chef after that? Was there a particular moment or reason that you thought, this is for me?
Honestly, like my mother, she was a baker. And she always used to wake up early hours in the morning and cook something, you know, like she would like bake pies, cakes, make some food for us. And, you know, also she was working some night shifts. So I was feeling sorry for her when she was coming back home after, you know, after a night shift, and she would like to get some sleep. So I asked her to teach me how to make eggs, how to make pancakes, how to make waffles. I was about 5 years old. And then it came to the time when she was coming back home from the night shift, and I would make her sandwiches. Like without, she wouldn't even ask me, I would just go and make her, and I'd like, "Mommy, there you go, made you some sandwiches." And I think it kind of like started from there, and I was always interested in cooking. I was always helping her out in the kitchen since I remember myself, so like 6, 7, like all the time she cooks, I'm in there helping her out. And yeah, and then I started cooking for the whole family when I was like 15. But like simple stuff, you know, like whole chicken, like dissected, marinated, put in trays, some potatoes, some cheese and spices and stuff like that. And you know, it was quite nice. So
I can see that, yeah, it comes from the family and
yeah, it comes from the family.
Evolves, takes over. Some people love the cooking, it's like a passion.
Exactly, yeah. I always loved it.
Good, that's lovely. In the Victorian and Edwardian eras, they were pivotal times for the culinary world. This is where several chefs were leaving an indelible mark on the industry. Alexis Soyer was a prominent figure in Victorian Britain. He was known for his flair and innovation. Soyer served as a chef at the Reform Club here in London. This is where he modernised kitchen equipment and also the cooking techniques. He's remembered for his philanthropic efforts, such as creating mobile soup kitchens during the Irish potato famine and designing healthier, efficient cooking facilities for the British Army during the Crimean War. Auguste Escoffier, although more closely associated with the French culinary tradition, had a significant impact on British cuisine during the Edwardian era. He popularised the brigade system in professional kitchens, this streamlining operations and creating a more efficient workflow. Escoffier also simplified and codified French cuisine, influencing chefs across Europe and way beyond. Another notable figure, excuse the pronunciation, is Charles Elme Francatelli. He was a contemporary of Soyer. Francatelli served as the chief cook to Queen Victoria and penned several influential cookbooks, including The Modern Cook, which provided insight into the lavish dining habits of the upper classes. Progression. Marie-Antoine Carême, although slightly earlier, also deserves mention for his profound influence on the culinary world. Although primarily he was active during the early 19th century, Carême's legacy extended well into the Victorian era. He is often credited with developing the concept of haute cuisine, and he was a grand master of cuisine, known for his elaborate presentations and the popularisation of the chef as an artiste. Each of these chefs significantly contributed to the evolution of the culinary arts during the Victorian and Edwardian eras, shaping the foundations of modern cooking as we know it today. In the late 20th and early 21st centuries, chefs like Alice Waters, Ferran Adrià and René Redzepi revolutionised the culinary world. Alice Waters pioneered the farm-to-table movement, emphasising fresh and local ingredients. Ferran Adrià, with his innovative molecular gastronomy, transformed the way food is prepared and presented. René Redzepi popularised foraging and new Nordic cuisine, focusing on local and seasonal, sustainable ingredients. These chefs modernised the profession by pushing boundaries and challenging traditional culinary norms. Their focus on creativity, sustainability and the dining experience transformed the industry, making it a more dynamic and globally interconnected experience. The evolution of the chef's role has made excellence in hotels and restaurants essential, as chefs are now seen as a key diverse of any venue's reputation and success. Their creativity and vision, the commitment they have to quality, will continue to shape dining trends and set standards for culinary excellence. Ever-changing landscapes. But today, the position of the chef is more dynamic and influential than ever. Chefs like Gordon Ramsay have become household names, not just for their culinary skills, but also their media presence and entrepreneurship. Ramsay, known for his high standards and fiery personality, has built a global empire of restaurants and television shows, influencing aspiring chefs across the world. Other notable figures include Massimo Bottura, known for his avant-garde Italian cuisine, Dominique Ansel, famous for creating the cronut, and Yotam Ottolenghi, who has popularised Middle Eastern flavours. These chefs, among others, continue to push culinary boundaries, focusing on innovation and sustainability and the art of plating. The profession has also seen a surge in diversity and inclusion, with more women and chefs of various backgrounds gaining prominence. The rise of social media has given the chefs new platforms to share their creations and philosophies, further expanding their influence throughout the world. So what do you think is the future of the trade? So what's the future of the cooking career?
I think that we are in a interesting position right now after pandemic. So we have worse chefs, like kind of like education for the chefs, but higher salaries. Mm-hmm. So now at this time, it's chefs, like good chefs, are like gold. However, I'm telling you that what's going to happen in the next 10 years. We are going to be superstars. For the one reason is because AI right now is taking a lot over the IT jobs, marketing jobs, service providers, all kind of like service jobs that can be done online and working with all the information. So a lot of people will lose their jobs. But there is no, at least now, not yet, there is no robot that can make great food.
They tried the service robot, didn't they?
So I think in about 10 years, chefs will be in a really, really good position.
Good point. I've heard some governing bodies and things talk about AI this week, so it's been discussed. I'm a 50-50, certain jobs. It works for some, not the other. So what advice would you give to anyone that wanted to become a chef?
First of all, if you have a passion for cooking, yes, be a chef. It's not, I know, like I've met a lot of people in my career that they have this job because they had no education and it's a job for them just to pay the bills. It's not worth it. It's not worth to pay the bills. I'm telling you from the bottom of my heart, it's not worth for paying your Go work in a warehouse, stack shelves in Tesco's. Maybe you will give it higher salary than working as a chef. Being a chef is all about the passion for cooking, and I think the main rule of thumb in my career, what I've learned, is learn the basics and stick to the basics. Don't hit yourself in the chest saying, I'm a chef, I can cook. You cannot until you know the basics of cooking.
Like an omelette.
Like an omelette.
I have worked with chefs, I'm not going to mention any because they track me down, that can't make an omelette. So it does happen.
It does happen. There's a lot of things. You know, like I don't know every single cuisine. I cannot cook you everything as well. You know, like I have a good knowledge about a lot of stuff, and I'm a huge fan of Asian cuisine. I know how to cook like continental, French basics and stuff like that. Give me the recipe, or I can find the recipe and I'll cook it for you. Because like over the years, I now have the skill of understanding the chemistry and how cooking works. So yes, again, basics. Without them, I wouldn't be able to cook some other things. You come to me and tell me cook the tagine, and I will make you some crab. When a Moroccan person will tell me this is not a tagine, you can throw this in the bin. But now, if I'll do a good research and I'll really find a good recipe, I'm sure I can make a decent tagine. That's an example.
It's like the skill. It's a natural talent that comes with the lessons.
Exactly. Yes.
Interesting on that. Okay.
In summary, modern chefs are not just cooks, but they are innovators. They're educators and entrepreneurs shaping the future of gastronomy and hospitality. Their impact resonates globally as they excel in their creativity. In London and across Europe, culinary training has a deep tradition, also within establishments like Le Cordon Bleu in Paris, founded in 1895 as a pioneer. This institution set the high standards for French cuisine and became renowned worldwide, influencing many chefs who brought its techniques to various cuisines. Here in London, Le Cordon Bleu and the Westminster Kingsway College are notable for producing a number of accomplished chefs. Westminster Kingsway College, in particular, has a very strong reputation for its comprehensive training programs that include classical cooking techniques alongside modern sustainable practices. As for chefs in London, Gordon Ramsay stands out for his dedication to rigorous standards, a trait that's evident across his multiple Michelin-starred restaurants. Chefs like Claire Smith at Core and Jason Atherton at Pollen Street Social exemplify excellence, blending precision with British cuisine. In top hotels, executive chefs like John Williams at the Ritz, long-standing and well-known, Martin Nile at Claridge's, embody a commitment for excellence, quality and consistent refinement, each aiming to create a memorable experience through food that complements the hotel's legacy. This dedication to excellence is often about crafting unique experiences, maintaining high standards and embracing a continuous pursuit of learning and innovation.
Take two.
I don't have the budgets for the clapperboard. I should have come with a lovely clipboard now. This one. I don't want it to be too overfull. So, do you have any catering heroes or someone you were inspired by?
Quite a lot, to be honest with you. And I would not even give those names like, the big names that they've been on the telly and stuff. Like when I was self-developing, I really liked Gordon Ramsay. And when he was kind of like climbing his career on television as a chef, he had marvelous recipes, and I've tested a lot of them, and they all been absolutely great. The results were absolutely fantastic. Marco Pierre White, some other, but at the same time, there are also celebrity chefs that I would not consider them chefs. I consider them that they're being in the right place at the right time, doing the right thing, but not as a chef. But in my career, especially working in this company, I had great people teaching me. Like I had Russell Ford, I had Byron Musuris, I had James Harrison, James Lindsay, to key people, Paul O'Brien, and then there's much more. I've learned a little bit of everything from everyone, and I built up my own style of cooking when I became confident in cooking, when I realized that yes, now I can cook. It was an interesting journey, and I'm really thankful for them chefs that they were keeping an eye on me, they were helping me, explaining me, and I learned one lesson: don't ask questions how to make it, ask question why you're making it that way. It's a very small difference, but it's very important. You can be told of how you cook a steak, and then you can repeat it. You can repeat the process, and then even if you get it right, you might still not understand the whole concept behind it. But if you ask questions, why are you cooking in this like this? Why are you resting it? Why are you searing it? Why are you roasting it? Why are you napping with the butter and herbs and the garlic and stuff like that? I mean, there's many ways to cook it. Then you understand the concept of cooking and flavors and textures.
You build the understanding.
Yeah.
And the other question with a voice of fear is, why are you stewing it? Stewing steak exists.
Exactly. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I won't keep you too much longer. The final question: can you name any personal achievements or things in general that you prize during your career so far?
I'm actually very proud of this, and I keep saying that to a lot of people, but just as an inspiration. When I was learning like how to cook and being in many places, breakfast chef, commis chef, and so on, and then I decided to take a little break from doing like weird shifts and double shifts, and so I have joined the Marylebone Doll Collection as a breakfast chef.
Yeah.
And my agreement with my chef was, well, I was executive chef, was Russell Ford at that time, and I told him that, chef, I'm here to take a rest from double shifts. It's 5 to 1:30, great shift for me. You know, I have a whole day for myself. I'm still young, but let's make an agreement. I'll be a breakfast chef for about 10 months, and then I will move forwards into the main kitchen. And then my journey began. I started absorbing everything. Within, let me count now, after 8 years of working for the company from breakfast chef, I have achieved the position of executive head chef. And I think that was my biggest achievement in a short time. I think it's a big jump. At the same time, it was not easy. You had to learn a lot on the way. You know, sometimes you're like, yes, this guy can work hard, let's give him that job, and you're getting the job, and then you're realizing how much bigger it is than you are. And you're like, okay, I better catch up very, very, very quickly.
Never ending.
It's never ending, it's never ending. But in the kitchen, you never stop learning. Like now, I still have this passion and interest when I watch cooking shows. I go explore restaurants. I go explore different cuisines in different countries when I'm traveling, and you know, and it just I pay more and more attention to the details. Sometimes I even pull out the waiter and ask him, "Can you please ask chef how did he make this dish? I would like to get some details, or from which supplier he got this particular cut of meat." You know, like it's like I really like the quality. And sometimes quite often actually, they will tell me how they cooked it. And that will be, most of the time actually, that will prove my theory in my head, like how this was made. But also, many times they told me quite good names of the suppliers, which I could get a particular item from, which was very, very useful in my career. So yeah, ask questions.
Questions are good. But yet every job, people now are not asking enough questions, or too scared to ask questions. Because whether you're in the kitchen or the reception, or even in the restaurant like we are, people don't always ask enough. So
yes, for two reasons, and that has to change. Again, the first reason is that for some people it's just a job to pay the bills, so they wouldn't care much.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, like, you know, you cannot avoid it. But the second thing, that the chefs are scary, and they come to the kitchen, they start asking questions. You know, there's a lot of people come up to me and they go like, "Chef, can I ask you a stupid question?" I always say, listen, there is no stupid questions. Unless like I'm extremely busy and I'm doing like 10 things at the same time, we're a busy service, and somebody comes to me and he goes, "Chef, does this dish got this allergen?" And you be like, "My friend, I made it the allergen metrics, why don't you read that? You know, why did I spend time?" You know, I might come out as rude, but hey, we all need to do our homework. I've done my homework, and I think that everybody has to do their homework, and everybody has to be ready. But again, there is no stupid questions.
True. That's it. I'm not going to keep you anymore. Thank you very much for your time. It will be an interesting video and an insight for people that will find this video as to what goes on in the mind of a big man. So we'll leave it with you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Their work goes beyond cooking. It's about creating lasting impressions that align with the esteemed reputations of the venues they represent. The future of the chef position seems poised for even greater influence, particularly as chefs take on the bigger roles beyond the kitchen. The positions within a professional kitchen, which we know were structured to the Brigade de Cuisine system, as established by legendary French chef Auguste Escoffier in the late 19th century and early 20th centuries, where he designed this hierarchy to create a streamlined and efficient kitchen, much like a military brigade, and this structure is still very much relevant today. The position became so varied in history to expand to specific specialities, upgrading the performances of the cooks to an elevated level of excellence. In the first position would be the executive chef, the chef de cuisine, the head chef of the kitchen responsible for overall management, menu planning and culinary decision. The position evolved as restaurants and hotel kitchens became a lot larger, requiring a single person to oversee operations. Today, the executive chef remains a crucial, often embodying the restaurant's identity and creation of vision. Number 2, the sous chef, the second in command, assisting the executive chef in daily operations and managing the kitchen in their absence. This role emerged to support the chef de cuisine to ensure the smooth flow of the kitchen. It continues to be essential for the delegation, quality control and hands-on leadership. Next in line would be the chef de partie, the station chef. The chef de partie runs a specific station within the kitchen, like the grill, sauté or pastry section. The brigade system still in a specialisation to ensure expertise in different areas. Today, station chefs are vital for the efficiency and consistency of the quality in professional kitchens. Commis chef, a junior chef working under a chef de partie, learning the basics of different kitchen stations. This position serves as the entry-level training ground, an idea rooted in the need for structured culinary education. It remains a significant position for grooming future chefs, giving them first-hand experience. Next we have the pastry chef, patissier. They specialise in desserts and baked goods, managing the pastry section. As desserts became an essential part of fine dining, this role developed to handle the complexities of pastry work. Today, pastry chefs are celebrated for their artistry and often running an entire bakery or dessert programme. The sauce chef or saucier. They're responsible for the sauces and sauté dishes, historically one of the most prestigious positions because of the complexity of sauces in French cuisine. While not always a distinctive role today, the skills of the saucier are highly valued, particularly within fine dining. There is also a fish chef, poissonnier. They prepare the fish and seafood dishes. Back in Escoffier's time, the seafood was a delicate and important aspect of French cuisine. Modern kitchens may merge this role with other positions unless the restaurant specialised seafood. The vegetable chef, entremetier. They handle the vegetable dishes, soup and egg preparations. This position arose as menus became more elaborate, and while not always separate today, the role is still crucial for managing accompaniments and vegetarian options. We move on to something that's less of a thing now, but the garde manager. In charge of cold dishes such as salads, pâtés and charcuterie. The role originated from the need to preserve meats and prepare the items as they could be served cold. Today this position is relevant in high volume kitchens and more modern charcuterie programs. I haven't come across it in quite a long time, but it is still out there. Now when we look at the modern preparation and the supply, there used to be the position of the butcher or boucher. They prepare and cut the meats. This specialisation was necessary in large kitchens that butchered whole animals. While less common today, in smaller kitchens it remains a vital in high-end establishment for those focusing on whole animal cooking. It's got a little bit smoky in here. I had to open the log burner in order to keep the place warm and put some stuff in, so it's got a bit smoky. So the other position is the roundsman, tournant, a flexible chef who fills in wherever needed. The role was designed to provide support and ensure no station was understaffed. It continues to be relevant for its adaptability in dynamic kitchen environments. The expediter, aboyeur, coordinates between the kitchen and the front of house, ensuring dishes are served correctly and timely. The position originated to manage communication and remains important today for seamless service in busy kitchen environments. These roles evolved as restaurants and hotel kitchens expanded, requiring specialisation for efficiency. Today, while some kitchens simplify the structure, the brigade system's influence remains fundamental, promoting order, teamwork and precision in culinary operations. We're likely to see chefs becoming leaders in sustainability, food ethics and technology. The rise of plant-based and lab-grown foods will demand new techniques and innovations, with chefs playing a key role in making these accessible and even more so delicious. Furthermore, the role will likely expand into food science as chefs experiment with AI-driven recipes, food waste reduction techniques and hyper-local sourcing through on-site gardens and urban farms. We can expect chefs to continue influencing food policy, public health and education, guiding how the food is produced and also consumed. As global voices and educators, future chefs might even have the emphasis on simply creating dishes for fostering social and environmental change. This next generation of chefs may not only be the culinary skill set, but also for their food impact throughout the world, pushing the boundaries of what it means to lead in the culinary arts. So from the darkness and the warm fire below, sorry about the grainy end. Thank you for joining me. Don't forget, like and subscribe. Do drop a comment if you'd like to know anything or you'd like to suggest a video. This is an exciting new series I've been waiting to make for about 5 years. We're going to interview many people and introduce the history of many positions within the catering and hospitality industry. Thank you for watching. Catch you in the next one. Take a look at my other videos if you're interested in food histories. Take care. See you soon. Good night.